We are at Blue by Chef Eric Repair, which is inside the Ritz-Carlton, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. I want to tell you a little bit about authors P.C. and Kristen Cast. They have been visiting the Cayman Islands for quite some time now, but their series House of Nights has topped the U.S. Today, the Wall Street Journal bestseller list, as well as the New York Times bestseller list for 63 weeks. Well, the mom and daughter bestseller young adult novel recently launched right here in Grand Cayman, the new book, Burned. And our daybreak crews were able to catch up with them and talk to P.C. Cast as well as two of the vampires fan.
Burned is the 7th book in the House of Nights series, and oh wow, this is my favorite of the whole series, and I don't say that after every book.
I've never been a very advocate reader, and then I decided to pick up the series and I was hooked.
The House of Nights series had a really unusual beginning. My agent and I were at a romance writers convention in May of 2000. No, it was the summer of 2004, and we were having dinner, and she said, "Hey, I have an idea for a series I'd like you to write." And when people usually say that, authors are like, "Oh," because, you know, I have millions of my own ideas. I don't need someone else's. But she's my friend, too. So I said, "Okay, what?" And she said 3 words that changed my life. Vampire finishing school. When I really sat down and thought about it, I thought, I have to do something that's never been done before. So I decided that my House of Night world would follow in the footsteps of my other books. They're all very heavily female empowering. So I made the only vampire society that's matriarchal. I also based it heavily on biology. My dad's a biologist. And then I added some goddess magic.
I absolutely love P.C. Cast and Kristen Cast.
And I didn't think I'd have any trouble with teenage voice because I've been teaching teenagers for more than a decade. But I was horrified to find out that my 1970s teenager started coming out on the paper. And so I was in my office, and my daughter stayed home her first semester of college, her freshman year of college, before she went to the dormitories. And I would yell down the hall at her, and her name is Kristen Frances Cast, KFC, so we call her Chicken Frances. I would holler down the hall, "Chicken!" And I'd ask her a question like, if you're going to gun an engine, you know, do you gun it or rev it? Which do you do? Because one you did in my high school time and one you do in hers. And so after about the 4th time I did that, I just came out and said, "Would you like to co-author these with Mama?"
It's a story about a girl named Zoe, and it shows her how she's growing through her vampire. She's been marked by a vampire, and it shows how life really is. You meet a bunch of friends, you grow close. It shows life's challenges in a very imaginative way, and that's what got me hooked, because I could relate to the stories.
Zoe is a girl on her own. She has to figure out her way. She was marked in the first book, and she doesn't know where she's going, and she ends up being this I guess next to the Nyx, which is a goddess, and she has all 5 affinities, and she has to learn how to become herself, to become one with the affinities and learn how to use the affinities in the correct way. Of course, it's a good over evil, and she has to fight, you know, day in and day out with it.
She's based on Kristen, when Kristen was 16, and I did that on purpose after she joined me in, well, she doesn't really co-author with me. She goes through, I write the entire manuscript and then I send them to her, and she goes through them as a teen voice editor, and she serves as the editor for our American publisher, St. Martin's Press, also, another teen series. But I thought it would be easier for her to really step into the character and step into the world if she was familiar to Kristen. And of course, Kristen's familiar to me, so I based Zoe on Kristen at 16. But Kristen always wants me to say, to be very clear, that she did not have a whole bunch of boyfriends like Zoe does.
I'm a huge fan of the House of Night series. I just finished reading the last book, Burned.
In this book, I take a whole different approach to mythology, and I really get into the House of Night world and the roots of the House of Night world. And I know I'm going to break some hearts in this too, but trust me. Just trust me. Come in and read it and believe that I'm already working on Awakened. It's okay. I'm going to tie up all the loose ends, and I won't make you cry. Okay, I will make you cry, but I'll also make you laugh and smile too.
John, sitting and talking with her was such a... it was so nice because she just had so many positive things to say, and I really like the fact that she includes her daughter in her books and helping her keep up with the teenage thought.
Yeah, you know, Sheen and everyone, a lot of famous authors have come to Cayman and have, you know, written novels here, like John Gresham wrote The Firm right here, from what I understand. Also, P.C. Cass also owns a home here now.
She does.
In Grand Cayman, and that's wonderful. And she says that you couldn't find a better place, a more relaxing place to write a book than right here in Grand Cayman. Another interesting fact, you might have saw the book when it said Chosen. In that series, she mentions the Cayman Islands. So
she does.
Yeah, and you have to read the books to understand why she loves Cayman. And by the way, I know you're right, my dear. We all love Cayman.